wonderfully talented, very dark, beautiful-minded, and for her mother's benefit, Dr. Stephanie Phillips.
Thank you. My mother will be so proud and happy. Thank you.
I love that. And you are you still teaching at all, or have you?
No, I retired from teaching maybe 5 years ago to do comics full time. So it's been a long time, and I will hopefully never go back to a classroom. That's not my thing, but, but I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, you're doing really well with comics, so
Thank you.
You don't really have to worry about going back on that. But you have something to fall back on, when you get bored.
Yes, I can fall back on the PhD when I get bored of comics. I like it. That's good.
So I've read a lot of your stuff, and you do great work in these short little dark stories, like the nuclear family. Just the idea of how everything has changed and using radio signals and things, and the way that you have the time travel sort of work with the nuclear fallout. How did you come up with that idea for that particular story?
That is actually a Philip K. Dick story that Aftershock used as like the jumping off point for a story. It's called Breakfast at Twilight is the original. And so the concept is still like the same of nuclear family, but what I did was I was like, the story, I think it's like 6 pages that Philip K. Dick wrote, and I was like, well, I want to know what happened after the 6 pages of Philip K. Dick's story, so that's where our story picked up, and we got to kind of run with the original concept, so yeah, that was a lot of fun. I had fun in like a very dark and sinister way, but yes.
And you leave us with this little now did it happen or didn't it? In the last panel, there's something waiting for you folks. Go read it. It's really good. Same thing with The Descendant. I really enjoyed that with the whole kind of culty vibe and going back in politicians for a long time. Where did you get the idea for that one?
The Charles Lindbergh, the kidnapping, that symbol that appears on the ransom note is something that I feel like I've never really seen anybody take the symbol. Like, I don't know what it is. You can look online and there's like some theories, but there wasn't really a good explanation for what it was. And I thought in a visual storytelling medium like comics, I was like, it would be kind of cool to do something that's really involving the symbolism of the ransom note and build something around that symbol. So that's where that one came from.
You just have such a great mind, because those are like little tiny things that turn into really good stories when you take them on.
Appreciate that.
And I just read the other night, I had to read all of it, so I got A Man Among Ye.
Okay.
And so pirate stories.
Yes.
So much fun. And with that you were saying before that I heard you say that it's because where you're from, like everybody talks pirates. It's like, why would you not know about every pirate?
Yeah, it's in Tampa Bay. I mean, there's like a pirate festival, and I remember once like having a friend visit Tampa during Gasparilla, the pirate festival, and they were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Everybody doesn't have a giant pirate festival? I don't understand. That's just so normal." Like the culture of the Buccaneers, obviously. Mm-hmm. There's going downtown, you see a giant pirate ship just sitting in the water. It's kind of everywhere in Tampa. But a lot of that mythology was about the male pirates, and there were also female pirates, and I wanted to give them larger-than-life stories like the male pirates have. Like some of the pirates that Tampa celebrates were never even real pirates to begin with. So it's, like Jose Gaspar. I think it's been proven that this person never exists, and Tampa has festivals named after him. So it's, you've got these figures that, did they exist, did they not? What's true about them is probably lost. Like Anne Bonny, there's really not much recorded about her. Mm-hmm. What is recorded is from very unreliable sources. So giving her own actual narrative, I thought would be something that really hasn't been done a whole lot for the women pirates.
Yeah, and it was great the way you pulled it. And I mean, it was explained, like, we don't know if she did this or she did that or what, but this is what we think she did. Or what she deserved to have done.
Yeah, or just like a fun part of her mythology, which like there's so much about stories about Blackbeard or things like that he probably never did. So getting to give Anne those stories as well is really a part of our goal for that.
And then I wanted to ask you next about EC Comics.
Yeah.
All right, so you got a line of people here right in a row that are all part of the new EC comic.
Yeah.
When they got you on for this, is it just for the one book, or are you going to be part of the ongoing crew?
I'm a part of more of them. I think I'm in issue 3. Riley Rossmo and I are reuniting. Riley and I did Harley for 4 years together, so
Nice.
We're doing a story in issue 3, and then I'll have another one out probably beginning of next year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you excited?
Yeah.
With the Oni Press, did they come and approach you, or?
Yes, they did. One of the editors I knew from Boom, and I think she's fantastic, and I think she's put together a really cool lineup. So yeah, absolutely, I'm honored to be asked to be a part of that.
Yeah. Oh, when we were doing the news, we found it where it was just like, oh my God, this list of people is awesome, and then we get to meet you. And the last thing I want to talk to you about then is Distillery Life that you're working on with Brian.
Yes. Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's different than I think any book I've ever worked on. The format, the look of it, obviously co-writing, which is not something I've done a lot of, and co-writing with Brian. So that's been a lot of fun. It's Brian Azzarello, Daniel Giselle on artwork. It's Lee Lowridge on colors, who is, if he didn't win an Eisner, that's robbery, wrong. I think he was nominated. He should have. I don't know how the results of that turned out, but Lee is fantastic, and he's on multiple projects with me, so happy to have him on that as well.
And apparently very speedy as well.
Daniel for sure is. Keeping up with Daniel is, I'm fast. I'm faster than I think Brian is in terms of getting script pages to Daniel, but Daniel is faster than either of us. And I'm like, how do you have an artist that's faster than the writers? That's pretty crazy. And nothing is sacrificed in that. I don't know how he does the detail he does of 20 plus pages in the time frame he does. It's really impressive.
And what's it like working with the Distillery setup? Because they're kind of new.
Yes.
But I love the webcomic thing, the reading experience just online.
Yeah.
I got the Ash Can for Life, and reading through that, it was like you close you click on something and it zooms in on different parts of the page for you, so it helps with the storytelling.
I like the digital stuff is it's not my wheelhouse. I don't know how to do anything digitally, but they've got somebody doing that's done a really fantastic job of building out the user experience, and happy to be a part of that.
Yeah. And I know why you guys just did the flip book, but what made you even think of doing the flip book? Because there aren't that many out there. It's not a very common thing, but it's really cool that you're doing it.
We had come up with a couple different format options. One was we were going to write 2 6-issue series and just have them coming out almost simultaneously, and then we were kind of when we went with Distillery for the book, because the book predates Distillery, we thought it would be really cool to play with the format that Distillery was already offering, which is the big oversized books.
Yeah.
So we were we can put 2 issues in one book and make it a flip book and do 2 covers, and we thought that would be really fun and kind of a more tactile experience for readers to physically engage with the actual book and have to turn it and flip it, and also the reading order can change a lot, so depending on which side you decide to open up first changes hopefully your perspective of the story. So
you're gonna take some polls later and figure out which side did you read first, and what do you think?
I'll be curious. If we can figure out data, especially digitally, I think they came up with something digitally to where it'll randomize, so buyers getting it digitally, it'll give everybody a different one randomly to start with a different side. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you'd like to got started, or anything you'd like to mention? Or
Phoenix #1 is out right now from Marvel. Issue #2 comes out next week, and Spider-Gwen is kind of still ongoing from Marvel. So all good stuff.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Excelsior!